Okay, now as you can see there, I got it nice and flat. There aren't any defects, there aren't any areas where the saw was pushed off by the tension in the wood. And this is important, you know, especially when you start getting into good quality wood. If you push it too hard, too fast, there's a lot of unknowns in lumber that can deflect that blade. And everyone says, well, what's the biggest cut you can make on this mill? And I say an 8x8, or if I flip it, like an 8x16. But you can also put the chainsaw attachment on there, the chainsaw mill part, and then get a big slab. But if you start off with a really nice flat surface on your good quality wood, and you don't rush it, you take it in incremental cuts, then you definitely get a much better yield with better looking lumber. The downward cuts, when you're cutting vertical, that's not quite as much of a problem, and you can't increment that down. So if you're taking long cuts, you just have to go slow, because you're not going to get a lot of bending in the blade in that direction. It's the horizontal cuts that you have the problems. Let me see if I can show you a little bit about how this blade mechanism works. You see the arrow there, that's the direction that you're working. So when you're going in this direction, that blade is going to be horizontal. But when you want to flip it up for the backward cut, you pull this, and what that does is that rotates that blade up here. It's got to latch securely, right here. It's got to latch very securely, and that puts it dead 90 degrees to that last cut. And this is your incremental gauge. This is the width of the cut. You set this with determining what thickness you want, and you keep moving it over, and that's what you can set it by. It's a sliding gauge. And then the height adjustment is over here. It's pretty crude, but seems to work. And ultimately you're going to plane everything down anyway, so you're just doing rough cut lumber. But we can get pretty decent stuff here. And that log will probably yield 400 board feet of lumber. I'm guessing, but we'll see what we end up with. But I'll do all big timbers with this one, probably 4x6s, because it's so damn heavy I can't carry it. Also bear in mind I'm doing this all by myself. I don't have a helper. If I had somebody, I'd stop the saw and we'd pull some bigger timbers off of here. But these look like they'll work. You know, that's a more something that you can incorporate into a deck, or, you know, uprights or a gazebo or outdoor stuff, or they could be some real healthy fence posts. Use water to lubricate the blade, especially on gummy woods. That's a real simple directional valve. Just keep filling up, keep dribbling the water on when it's in the horizontal position. Doesn't do much on the vertical position, but it spreads the water out, keeps the blade cooler, and keeps the pitch from building up. Now I just got a few more logs to get through here. None of these are real special logs, but they're worth milling. A bit of sycamore, got some black walnut up over here. That's worth milling, that's worth some money. I got some pine, it's Canary Island pine, it's pretty straight grain. You know, I just use that for, you know, construction wood. I want to take a little bit of time here and talk to you about yield. When you're milling a log, one of the things a lot of people ask me is, how much wood am I going to get out of this log? Well, there's a fairly easy way to figure it out. I'm going to show you right now. Let's start out with the length of the log. I measured this out. It's just a little bit over 9 feet long. Now you go over to the small end of the log, and you can kind of calculate out how many timbers that you're going to get. Now in this case, I'm cutting 4x6s. 1 board foot equals 1 inch by 12 inches. So a 4x6 is 2 board feet per linear feet of run. So a 9-foot 4x6 is equal to 18 board feet. So I think originally I said I'd get about 400 board feet out of this thing. That means I'd have to get 22, 24, something like that. Now let's do a little calculating here. All right, what I've done here is I kind of sketched out a 4x6 end piece, and I didn't do it right on the end because we're not going to have great wood all the way down there. It's got to line up with where the sap is. So what I've got there is I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across on that piece there, and I'm getting to the center. So if I count there, I go 5, 10, 15, 20, and then they start getting pretty bad. So I think I'm going to get about 20 out of this, and I got 5 on the ground over there. So you know what? I think I'm going to get about 25 of these things, and they're going to measure out, like I said, 9 feet long, 18 times 25. That's the answer. Damn, it's starting to rain again, so I'm going to go in, but I'll finish this up later and we'll see how accurate I am.